हारो मां वीडियो चालू मत करो. Good afternoon guys, it's 12:38 p.m. Today is October 1st and I'm recording the video for September 30th, Friday. Okay, so if I use word today, that means you have to understand it's a Friday. So this entire week it's the same story, right? Here, and then this is what I did. So I would suggest to take a day off, right? That is what I did. Due to month end and quarter end, price action can be wild and hard to catch sustainable move. Possibility is there. So if price goes out of the gray area listed in the chart, then we can have a move. So I said it's hard to catch sustainable move, right? That means if you see price going down, then it can suddenly reverse on you. If it goes going up, it's not going to sustain. That means it may come down, and it will trap you. And that is what essentially happened, right? In the morning it looks like it wants to go to moon. Internals were supporting full-blown bullish internals, right? And then it reversed all the way down, right? So today is all about this week hunting levels and exchange areas, right? So these are the areas, and for NQ these are the areas, right? So I combine NQ and ES reading. Basically I am giving you a key level, so these levels will give you a trade. Whether you want to trade it or skip a day today, it's up to you, right? But these are the levels. So break below in RTH. So this is the main nodes, bias in NQS. Both are basically trying to hold above yesterday's closing, which is Thursday's closing. So break below in RTH, below Thursday's closing, some sellers will be there, but then it is up to lower support areas, one of these lower support, to decide based on the real-time information, and that's it pretty much. 315 281 are the dream number, right? So let's see how days play out today, right? So these are the dream numbers, right? So of the open, before open, you can see dream number reacted here, right? And here also, correct? And then it went down all the way to of the open. It went down to 144, which was our preferred buyers area, right? And ES, the preferred buyer area, where was the preferred buyer area for ES? Did I forget? Did I? See, that's the problem. So this must be a preferred buyer area, probably. But anyway, there is no preferred buyer area, so you ignore it, okay? But so NQ, this is, it came to preferred buyers area right of the open, right? And if you look at it, ES, it gap down. So does NQ gap down, right? So in one way we can say, below Thursday's closing, right? As per the pre-market notes, some sellers will be there, right? But at the same time, I saw bullish disconnect also. So now it's a conflicting information, right? So bullish disconnects so usually favors buyers, but now price be closing, open below yesterday's close, which is Thursday's close, right? Which is also some sellers will be there. So we can't do anything here, right? So we can't go long, we can't go short. So there is nothing here to trade. Then price came down, right? So at that point, when it was holding here, right? Right here, you can see AD started going down here, right? That means even though there was a bullish disconnect, it failed at that point in time, right? Anyway, we know some sellers will be active, so that is your first confirmation, and that was like 43 or 44 somewhere here, so which was what was it, right here, so right below it you had this news driven low also, which was a Globex low, right? So 43 technically you can short, but then you have to worry about this Globex low. It was a single line, right? But it actually bounced from here also, right? So you can't short it here at 43. You have to wait for it to take out 40. But then if it takes out 40 and then you short, you are like going against, what do I call it? Like not going against, but you are like shorting it at the tail end, right? Because it's still opening few minutes and price can reverse on you. It's a month end. Remember, there is no sustainable move concept today, so it may reverse on you. So it makes sense to wait for a pullback if you wanna go short. rather than, and assuming everything is good at that time, internals and everything, then you can short. Otherwise, tail end short is risky, and especially when NQ is coming into preferred buyers area close to it, right? It doesn't make sense to short at 40 or 43, right? So now you know why not short here, right? Then price bounced, right, from this area, because this was a backup bias area. That was another reason not to short at 40, right? Because price can randomly bounce also like this. It didn't even come there exactly because of NQ it bounced, right? So then can we go long here, right? You can go long here, because we know there is no sustainable move concept, right? But and then also you can see it when price came down, internals were not like liquidation kind, right? They were still holding well, not that well, but at least they were, not that bad either, right? So first test of this 144 in NQ, you can go long, right? But again, it's a risky business, like this is like third or fourth test, it may go through it, right? So I rather wait for it to go through it, pull back here and short. Then, and by the time I want to see internals also going down, otherwise long here is risky, So for the long, what we discuss in pre-market is this in the voice. This is what we discuss. That if price comes here, right, this is not the area to go long at the first test. You have to wait for a price to bounce from it, build a two balances, then break out and then pull back. So this is what I wrote it here, and that is what I discussed in voice at 9:30 or before 9:30, pre-market voice. So then you can see it here, actually. So there was a case you can make it here. So this was a balance, okay. So now, so we have to remember this also, right? So no long here, right? So you have to wait for two balances. So there are two balances actually, depending on which time frame you use, So if you use 5 minute, these are the balances 1 and 2, right? So based on this, I said wait for two balances, break out and pull back, right? But when price broke out above here, so I was not here, and by this time I was done, I said, what, I'm not gonna watch even, and then I left, right? So but then I came back here also around this time, So when this breakout was happening, at this time, I put a statement in Discord also, right? So here you can go long actually. So if you are using 2 minute time frame, right, or 1 minute, this was your balance 1, balance 2, breakout and pull back right here, right? That you can go long. It was around 1050 or so, which was NQ also right here, right? But it's a different arrow, right? It's not ideal setup. Why? Because NQ was stuck between these two dream numbers, right? So, and we know how dream number works. When it holds it, it just holds it, and price can tank, right? So, but here you make a case for long, not only because of dream number, right, but also yes, you can use dream number as a support also, right? But not only dream number, it was internals were rising nicely, strong bullish, by this time. Look at this, right? And there was no downside momentum was actually favoring to the upside, right? So when this breakout happened with this momentum, right, when it pulled back, and this was also kind of first hour high also, right? So that's why it makes sense to go long here, assuming you are using these two time frame, 1 minute time frame and 2 minute. If you are using 5 minute, you have to wait for this breakout, which is this balance, right? When this happened, I was here, so I said it has to break 81, and then pull back to this area, these red lines, then you can go long, right? So if you look at this, right, since we are following this for this balance breakout, 81, right, you can see it, 81, it touched it here, it broke out, but it didn't broke out actually, it just spoke above it, right? Immediately came down and then held it, and then price is going down. So actually it was not a breakout, right? So then you cannot go long at 71, 73 at that point, So hold on, let me show you something. So this is what I typed it, at 11 o'clock, 11:07, right? Ideally you want to see this is the screenshot at that time when the breakout was happening here, right here. So here it says here, if you want to see it breaking above 81 and then pull back to 70, 73 and hold it further higher up, If hold it further higher up, that means you have to wait now, for 77 to 3 to held by price, then go higher, then you basically go long. Otherwise you can't go long at first test. Why? Because 81 breakout was not happened clearly. Break below 71.73 equal to ping pong, right? So let's close this, right, and let's put this on the side for now. Oops. Okay, so here, right, so now you have to wait to see here what happens, right, whether it bounces from this line or not, right? And then there was a second statement then I issued at that time, 11:26, right? So which is right around here, right around here at this time, right? First was here. So here I said this is the answer for 81, right? So I gave them an answer. Why 81? It was not our levels, but it was intraday reading. NQ was testing 350, 360, important level. Okay, is 81 is critical at first test? I said no, but here is the condition now. If ES goes back below 71.73 and does not go above 81 or this last high again, and NQ stays below 350, 360 and goes below first ring number 315, then it is important information for future short, right? And in that case, if you take that short, if that opportunity happens, then price can revisit 24-hour VWAP in both again, right? So that was the statement at 11:26, which was right around this point, right? Now you remember that statement, right? NQ's 315, which was this area, right? And this was a dream number 2. You can see it after my statement, 11, like right after 10 minutes, 11:36, right? These things did not hold. It failed to hold above, right? And this thing also failed to hold above, correct? So now you know that whatever I wrote could come true, and price may revisit 24-hour VWAP, which was this area, which was 58 in ES and 258 in NQ, right? By that time, now you have to decide what to do. If price goes through it, you are ready to short actually, right? Because now it's not only hold. See, that is what the only last area I gave you. Once it broke through it, now price may revisit this area again, so which is 50, and we know this area is important, right? So above buyers, below sellers, kind of, right? So here they hold it, but then here when it slices through like this, there will be a trap buyers here, who used VWAP to go long. They will bail out their position. That would be a short, right? But since it was in the middle of the day's range and it was a month end, that's why it's a different arrow. It was a good short, but it's not an ideal setup because it was in the middle of the day's range, right? So, and before that, internals were too strong, right? So that's why this is like a different arrow. But you have to realize that if this shorts, let's say, if these sellers are active, right, and then you want to see some balance, some breakdown, then you can trade targeting this area or lower. Same thing in NQ, right? So that's why it's a different arrow here. But when you see this balancing developing here and then breakdown like this, right, and price did test it, you can take this breakdown here if you want to, right, which is this below 40, or you wait for a pullback because it's a month end, right? So pullback was right here, right here. This was an ideal setup, perfect setup for the day. All these things were like okay trade. This one was good. Now you look for this backup bias area as a target, and yes, you look for this area, whatever the next board, right, or whatever NQ gives you. You can bail out both together, right, and then you bail out here or here, up to you. So that was the trade, right? 81 was the trade too. See, this one was a trade, right here. NQ you can fade it. ES you can't do it, anything with it, unless you want to fade it right here and this mini balance happen here, right? Then you can take a trade. Then you can only target 71, 73, which is too close. So that's why ES you can't do anything, but NQ you can target this DIN number. So NQ you have a room, to trade. And so, and that's pretty much it for today. There is no inbox here. I'll do it on Monday, and that'll be all for today.